Hello, Bumpy McSquigums here, and it's time to officially start the gameplay and story section of my Let's Play of Lords of Xulima, a story of gods and humans by Numantian Games. It was a game sent to me by the developers, and just something to keep in mind. I want to make sure you guys are aware the game is still in early access. There are a few bugs that are known to the developers, and they're working to hammer those out before they fully release the game, as well as some improvements based on community feedback. So keep in mind this is still early access on Steam. You guys can pick it up. I'll have all that information down below, along with all the information I can possibly find for you in the links that I usually include. So without any further ado, I'm going to hop over to the opening cinematic of the game, and then we'll get into the actual storyline.
My world was dying. I was called forth by one of the 9 gods to set sail for Xulima, their homeland, where no mortal had ever tread. But they had already abandoned it, and their new lords awaited my arrival to claim my soul. So deep was I sleeping that I felt as if I were drowning in the darkness and silence, as if time itself had stopped. I was on the Isle of Brina, far from the great war that consumed the grand continent of Rodinia. I heard a voice whispering in my ears, and I felt as if my body was being lifted up. I could not open my eyes, but I could see the firmament clearly, as if I had been pulled up to the stars.
Gowlin, hear the voice of Golod, the architect, the master of dreams and constructor of matter. The world is in agony. The guardian of souls is gaining power over the lords of Xulima. Our strength diminishes. I have watched you from the stars. I have chosen you to be my herald, my hand on earth. You must complete the mission I am giving you. Eradicate the evil that profanes the divine temples of the creators. Gather your party and sail to Xulima, where no other men from the west have set foot. Let the currents of Naliet and the breath of Taliet guide you to your destiny.
The voice trailed into the stars, like a whisper carried away on the winds. Finally, I was able to open my eyes. Had it all been a dream? I wished it were so, but I knew it was real. It was said that it was to be the darkest and bloodiest age in the history of man. On the great continent of Rodinia, the 2 largest kingdoms began a great war that would drag every country and village into an endless stretch of death and chaos. Many begged and prayed to the gods for help, but the gods never answered. In the safety of Brina, a small island in the far east of Rodinia, the echoes of war thundered louder with each passing day. In those ill-fated times, those who govern our destiny decided that I, Gowlin the explorer and navigator, would do my part to shape history. So I was chosen by Golod, the master of works, to be his herald on earth. In that time, I understood very little of the true meaning of those grave and profound words. The gods who once lived on the lost continent of Xulima years ago were engaged in battle with the guardian of souls, and as their power waned, the power of their enemies waxed. Golod commanded me to sail to Xulima, and once there, liberate the sacred temples of the divine. Little hope remained in the world, as long as our Lord Protectors continued their battles beyond the distant stars. Without them, nothing could stop the ruin of Rodinia. And so, it was then that I gathered my allies and set sail from Brina to the east. The wind and the currents guided us across the vast ocean of Morovia. The clouds and the mists were our constant and only companions. 2 weeks later, the clouds divided, and at last we felt the light of the sun once more, And there it was. Beyond the horizon, the land of legend. Xulima, home of the creators.
Alright, and with that, guys, it's time to get the game officially underway. All the story has been told, and we are ready to go and seek our destiny, I guess, in the Divine Temple's mission. Alright, so I'm pretty excited to get my hands on this game. Like I said, I played maybe 2 hours or so, and I'm going to leave all the tutorial and tooltips and stuff up in case there's something that I overlook. This way I feel a little bit more confident that everybody will know what's up by the end of it. Alright, so tutorial, movement and exploration. Use the left mouse button to move to your desired location or to interact with objects. Hold down the control key to run. You can also toggle the auto run mode with the caps lock key. Use the right mouse button at any time if you want more information to help with something on the screen. Or help, I suppose, not to help. Alright, we have accepted it and we are moving on. So basically, left click, you move around. If you hold down the thing, you'll go in the direction of the cursor. You can also move with WASD, so you can WASD it up, which is sweet, sweet nice. I like that very much. You cannot scroll your map at all, so you're confined to being zoomed in on your character, which is, that's fine, I don't mind it. And you can hold control to run, or you can toggle it with the caps lock key, and there you have it. Alright, so if your cursor ever changes into anything else other than the arrow, that means that you can interact in some way with the object that you're hovering over. So if we right click, we'll get more info. The ship Velamor. This is your ship Velamor. You reached Xulima after sailing for 2 weeks through the Great Sea of Murovia. Alright, so let's get started on our epic adventure, our epic quest, and hopefully I do a pretty good job at this game. It is quite fun from what I have played, and I'm not the greatest, but we'll see if I can struggle my way through. I imagine if I get past the early part of the game, I should be okay. So, interacting with objects. Use your mouse pointer to carefully examine the objects you see in the surrounding environment. If an object lights up, you can interact with it. I basically just told you guys that, but it reiterated it. So as you see here, our cursor changes to this weird thing looking like it's picking up something, maybe a ring. We walk over. Now if you're far away and it's grayed out, that means you can't interact with it until you get closer. If it's highlighted or colored, boom. And look at that, 50 gold laying there, we're taking it. It is ours. Now there's a lot of plants and stuff that you can pick up, and it'll tell you that right now actually. Plant collection. Gowlin the Explorer has the ability Plant Lore, which allows him to gather plants, herbs, and mushrooms. The more you improve this ability, the more you'll be able to harvest from each plant you find. When you have enough samples, you will be able to use them to improve an attribute or resistance. And I don't recall, I think it's this button right here. This shows all the herbal recipes that you can actually do, which is pretty cool. So as you gather plants and things, it will store up here, and if you get 10 of these, 40 of these, 10 of these, you know, basically different stuff, you can actually apply those, and I'm assuming, oh, you can apply it to whichever character you want too, which is pretty sweet. So that's a cool little feature that most games wouldn't have. I like that actually a whole heck of a lot. And you'll see up here you have like a an event log. It's pretty quick, it goes through pretty fast, but you can see what happened if you're quick enough. You can see what items you picked up or what events have happened. Food and rest. Pay attention to how much food reserves you have as you travel, rest, and perform actions. You will consume your food reserves. Without food, you cannot rest. When you rest, you regain your hit points and power points, and you can cure any wounds you have received, including death, ladies and gentlemen. When traveling in some terrains like deserts or snow, you will use more food than normal. Try to stay on the roads and pathways whenever possible. You can get food by buying it from vendors in villages, finding it in sacks or barrels, or by finding it in nature, like this giant fruit tree here, which I'm assuming it's fruit. Can't really tell 100% for certain, but we're going to harvest that, and if you notice right here, this is our food supply, off to the right, and we now have roughly 2 days worth of supplies. And the fog of war gets, you know, removed as we walk around. We do have a map, so we can see right here we're on the tranquil coast. We've explored this much of it so far. And you want to constantly kind of be bouncing around with your mouse to see if there's anything else you can pick up. Like right there, we just got a mushroom that we may have missed if we weren't paying enough attention. It looks like you should be able to harvest something here, but I know there's a plant that's like underneath another plant right here, and you're able to harvest that. So, boom. And with that, it looks like we got everything from this general area. I don't think there's anything else. So you just want to constantly keep your eyes open, take in the lush, beautiful surroundings. I think they did a really good job with the artwork in this game. It's definitely appealing and pleasing to the eye. They did a good job. They made nice flora and different plant life that kind of fits the whole theme of the game so far. Ooh, looks alright. So we've used up a little bit of our food running around doing what we've been doing. And if you notice, when we grab that, we get a big chunk of food there as well. So that's constantly going to be what you need to keep an eye on, because if you lose out on all the food, bad stuff's going to happen. Alright, we have a new journal event, the Divine Temples. Beyond the forest stood a human village. Could there really be humans living in Xulima? The legends told us that in the past, men and gods, little g, walked together over the lands. I wonder if they know something about Rodinia and the kingdoms of the west. Alright, and if we right-click on this, this is the village of Velagarn. So, let's go talk to the guard, soldier of Nengorth. Halt, he says. What is it? No stranger enters the village of Velengar, or sorry, I added an N there, Velagar, without paying the toll. Toll to enter a village? I come from far away, soldier. Is this how you receive visitors from other lands? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I think it's the allergies killing me here. Excuse me. It's the law. The village is under the protection of Prince Nengorth. He makes the rules. Pay the 100 gold, and you are free to come and go from the village as you wish, for a period of time. But watch yourself, stranger. Make trouble, and you'll be taken to the temple. You must pay the toll by order of Prince Nengorth. And how much is the toll, soldier? 100 gold. Well, that's pretty steep, considering we only have 70, so we're not going to be able to pay it right now. Now, I believe if we try to say, I'll pay nothing, if you're smart, you'll get out of my way, he will beat the crap out of all of us. So we don't want to do that. That's a bad idea. We're just going to not enter for now. We don't have the money to pay the toll, so we're going to back out. And we're going to continue to explore out here, because it looks like there is somewhere else to go to the right here, so we'll continue that. And it looks like there's some mushrooms or something over here. And maybe, yep, there's a plant over here. So, basically you just run around gathering and harvesting things, just like a lot of like survival games. You know, you harvest different plants and twigs and things, and you build stuff. This is more for building up your characters as opposed to building houses or weapons or anything, but the principle's still there. You get to go around and collect stuff. I actually think I like this top-down view where you get to walk around in third person to what the game is very similar to. When you see the combat, you'll understand, but if you ever played any of the original Might and Magic series, the combat's very similar to that, or some of the old-school Final Fantasy games. And it's even similar, though not exactly the same, as Legend of Grimrock. That's a little bit different, because you still can move and do everything else while you're in combat. Whereas here, you get locked into combat, and there's not much else you can do. So we're going to continue to walk around, gather up some stuff, get some things into our inventory, and be happy with that. Is there anything else up here? No. Night and dark places. When night falls or you are in a dark area, you can illuminate your surroundings by using a torch or a spell. On the bottom right of your screen, you will find a button to light or douse your torch, and you can see how much longer you will be able to use it. Never go on an adventure without a handful of torches. Alright, well there you have it. It's not quite dark yet. It's getting pretty close. Oh, looks like there's an enemy over here. So, enemies. Enemies that you see on the map are immobile and won't attack until you enter into their area of influence. Mouse over an enemy to see how close you can get before they attack. Though enemies are represented on the map by a solitary creature, they are normally found in groups. You can use the right mouse button to see how many enemies are present in the group. So if we hover over them for a little bit here, you see that? If we walk within that weird glowing runic circle looking thing, it will want to kill us. And if we right click, we can see, oh, there's actually 3 enemies. The difficulty is balanced, so there's a pretty good chance that we can win this fight. So we're going to give it a shot. Here we go. The combat has begun. Alright. Combat functions through a turn-based system. The order of turns is shown in the column on the right-hand side, over here, and is based on the speed and conditions of the combatants. Combatants will lose their turn if they are stunned, paralyzed, etc., etc., etc. When it's one of your character's turns, you will see the actions available to them on the screen, usually at the top. Actually, I think always at the top. When you select your action, you may also need to select a target for that action, as the weird goblin-looking creature laughs hysterically at us. Only pole arms and projectile weapons can be used from the back line. By the same rule, combatants on the back line are protected from most attacks by those of the front line. Use the button Combat Grid on the map screen in order to set the combat positions for your group. During combat, you can also change the position of your party members when it's their turn, or you can pull them out of combat to try and flee. Alright, so I'd rather have a more centralized dealie going, so I'm going to move her here, and I think that's going to give us the full breadth of what we can do. I think we're going to focus on the center guy here. Nope, he deflected or dodged or blocked or something. I guess we can use a spell. We'll cook him there. That's a decent chunk. So if you guys are wondering, I'll kind of explain this all to you as well. Over here is the turn order, so you'll see we're going to have 3 people go before it's Goblin A, and this is Warrior A here. That's his turn. Then we'll have 2 more, and then it'll be C, 2 more, and then it'll be B, and then it's all based on your initiative and everything else in combat. So, it looks like our rogue in the back lines is ready to attack, so we're going to shoot with our short bow, and unfortunately he keeps blocking. That shows you your percent chance to hit. If you don't hit in that percent, well, then you obviously miss, and you get the little block icon to pop up. And we are very, very unlucky this time, I gotta say. This might be the most times I've missed in a row ever. Alright, now I'm not 100% familiar with how the paladin works. I've never used one before, so I'd like to see. So that heals for a little bit less than what the priest would do. And it costs about the same amount of... Oh, of all ally hit points. Wow, that's actually pretty good. Well, we're gonna save that for now. So up here are all your buttons. So you have your attack, you have your defense, or parry. Okay, that's not too bad. Then you have you can move your character, or you can just click another spot. You can use an item if you have it, or you can change your equipment. So we're gonna continue to try to focus this guy. I mean, we have had terrible luck at hitting him. There we go. Finally, something went our way. I'm going to attack with our archer in the back line, and I'm going to hit him with my stick. Nope, didn't work. Alright, looks like Shiny Bob is going to have to do something. Gowlin's going to fail once again. I gotta say, I'm very, very unimpressed with how badly this is going. Like, we missed so many times. It's a little ridiculous. Alright, we're going to use our Aura of Healing. It's not the most effective way of doing things, so... it wouldn't have been a bad choice to actually have a cleric and a paladin in the group at once. I think we might be in trouble because I'm just not able to kill these guys. Like, we've missed a bunch. Like, a whole lot. And that's kind of an issue. I don't think spells can be missed, so that's one good thing. Something you can definitely rely on. Now, I can't reach with this guy in this position all the way over here. So I'm going to have to attack this guy, or not attack that guy, as it were. 71%. My goodness, oh my goodness, we're missing a lot. Like, this has never happened. I mean, I missed maybe 3 or 4 times the last few times I did this fight. Oh, I'm so bad at attacking, I actually hurt myself. That's pretty impressive. Alright, well, that's all well and good. That has happened. He is pretty darn hurt. It's unreal how bad they are in combat. Alright, well, we're going to have to throw our Aura of Healing up once again. Looks like Gowlin's going to get slapped a little bit. I'm going to smack him with a... Ooh, I actually stunned him too. Alright, and... do a little bit more damage. Can't quite hit with him, so we're going to pass our turn. And he's going to walk up, smack us one more time, but we should, in theory, be able to finish him off pretty easily now. Unless we run into the just non-stop missing constantly. It's 3 in a row at over 60%, 4 in a row at over 60%, and finally we win. A little ridiculous, I'm not going to lie, but it is what it is. It was still a relatively easy fight. If that was against a harder enemy, that would have been pretty depressing, because that would have been the difference between winning and losing. Fortunately, we did get hurt pretty badly there, which shouldn't have happened more than likely, but what do I know. Also, in the other two or three times I did this, I always had a bard in my team, and she sang her Song of Courage, which I believe actually gave me bonus to accuracy. So this is a group I'm not familiar with. Alright, so we looted the chest, and it has some equipment in there. So what we're going to do is hit the C key. I'm not sure how to bring that up otherwise, to be honest. Journal. There's your combat formation. So I'm going to actually move her there, and that's going to be our formation. I don't know how to bring up your inventory normally. Maybe you just right-click on... You just double-click on any of the guys. Alright. So, our front line, folks... Looks like Shiny Bob is just getting pummeled a little bit. Let's take a look at our defenses across the board. So, Calark and Shiny Bob have a lot of hit points, but not a lot of defense. So, what we're going to do is stack them up with the equipment. You think you want to give this stuff to other folks, but right now we have no equipment, and having any kind of armor is going to be better than having no armor. So, we managed to get a decent chunk of money now. We have 312. That's more than enough to pay for the toll, so we're going to head back and pay for the toll. Go inside, kind of explore the town, walk around, talk to a few people, and then that's going to do it for episode 1. So you're going to see kind of how the game works, how the game plays out, and then in episode 2 we'll hopefully finish up in town and head out and do some more combat. Alright, halt. What is it? He wants us to pay the toll. Very well, here's your money, and boom. It is done. So I'm probably going to run around the town before I actually talk to anyone, gather up all the stuff that I can. The only thing I'm not 100% sure that I should gather is this. This looks like this dude's farm, and I don't know if harvesting these things is a good or bad idea. So until I know, I'm just going to leave that. But the rest of the stuff I'm going to, of course, run around looting, because I'm crazy like that and I like to do things that I probably shouldn't be doing. Now if you ever see a bucket of water, you can run around and grab it, and it slightly restores your food supply, your rations, or whatever this is considered here. Food reserves, there you go. Alright, so that's all well and good. We have looted what we needed to loot. There's nothing there. Some mushroom things over here. It looks like we can loot the graves, but I'm not going to do that either. Well, at least not yet. Alright, we're going to go here, and we got some healing salves and a scroll of Spock's 2, as well as some other random stuff. I don't know that we can use a scroll yet. I think you need to be... Actually, you can use scrolls anytime you want, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go here and grab this. This looks like the Mausoleum of Queen Indaris. Here lies the body of Queen Indaris, 345 to 455. Wow, she was 110? That's kind of crazy. She was the wife of King Uvatha, and reigned for 35 years after his death in 410. It's locked. Now, there's a pretty good chance we can pick the lock and go in there and do stuff. And I may even do that, though I have a feeling it's not a good idea. So I'm torn between doing it and not doing it. I think I might err on the side of caution for right now, and maybe we'll try it in episode 2. Maybe that's what we'll start with. There's some person standing here inside this shiny place. It is really shiny. I like it, but fortunately not enough to do anything to or with it. Look over here. There's some barrels over here. Apparently have... What is that? Ooh, a lockpick. Now the lockpick minigame in this is a little bit strange. I'm not going to lie. I don't 100% understand it just yet. But, well, I think I might now, but I'm still really bad at it. Alright, I'm going to accept it, and we gained 1 point of cold resistance. Looks like there's an inn here, maybe. And there's some mushrooms on the ground, and a barrel that's got some purple liquid in it. And I think we're pretty much covered over on that side. We've gone over here, we've done all the stuff that we can over on this side. Now this dude is very informative. He is actually quite helpful, and we will definitely talk to him possibly first This guy seems to be a vendor. I've never actually spoken to him yet. But that's another thing. I think you actually need to load up on supplies before you leave your first town. This may also be a vendor. So, definitely something you need to be aware of if you are planning on grabbing this game, picking it up. You need to actually do some stuff. Alright, I'm going to grab that up. And it looks like every 3 or so steps we trigger time during the day, which is interesting. Alright, so here's a bucket of water. Take a look at our food supply. It's about to go bye-bye. We didn't get much, but we got a little bit more in our food reserves. There's a cold resistance point here. I don't know if it's permanent. I think it is, though I'm not 100% sure. Alright, we're looking there. Another healing salve. We'll take that. And we'll go over here, loot this box as well. And it's a torch. We'll take that as well. And I think that about does it for the exploration part of the town. Let's take a look at our map. Looks like we have explored the entire town now. And it's talking to people, going to the different shops and things of that nature that we need to do at this point. So what I'm going to do is talk to this guy, get through kind of his storyline advancement scenario here. And then probably break off the episode before we get too involved in what's going on in the town. So you have a pretty good idea what's going on at the very start of the game. You guys should be able to, well, easily follow suit because I didn't do anything beyond just what you would have to do either way. And I gotta say, the combat did not go super well for us, but that's okay. That is okay. So I suppose we'll try the Aura of Healing, but we don't have enough magic points. Alright guys, let's talk to this dude right here. Galvin the Trainer. Greetings, stranger. I am Galvin, Master and Trainer. I welcome you to our village, though you come in dark times. You don't look like you're from around here. Where are you from? We come from the Isle of Brina, in the far eastern region of Rodinia. Rodinia? Brina? In all of my travels I have never heard of these places. Where are they? Obvious that the Really? Okay. Obvious that the inhabitants of Xulima know nothing of the great continent of Rodinia. You decide not to discuss it further. You also keep silent about your divine mission. It's a small, remote place. It's not important at all. Tell me, friend, what brings a group such as yourselves to Velagarn? We are on a mission, but I cannot say much more. Judging by how the soldiers of Nengorth treat people at the gates, this does not seem to be a very friendly place. Galvin lowers his voice and almost at a whisper says, "Shh!" And then we wipe our face because he spit all over us. Be careful with what you say, my friend. The Prince of Nengorth has eyes everywhere. Well, if he has eyes, it doesn't really matter what we say, unless he can read lips. If he can read lips, then we'd be in trouble. But if he has ears everywhere, we have to watch what we say. Eh? Ironically, using our eyes to watch what we... Never mind. Alright, moving past that. Teehee. Alright, eyes everywhere. That said, the people of Velagarn detest him like a sickness. When his forces invaded, they killed many innocent people. All those who resisted were not killed are now locked up in the Temple of Fabret. The Temple of Fabret is being used as a prison? What? Has the news of Arthurian's fall not reached your lands? Arthurian? Who is that? We appreciate any information you can give us about this region. Galvin's eyes open wide as he carefully examines your face, looking for a sign that you may be joking. I find that difficult to believe, my friend, but I will tell you what I can. Arthurian was the one king of men in Xulima. He ruled the lands for many years, so many in fact that he appeared immortal. It is said that he was the favorite of the gods. Ironically, Big G. But when the Makers departed, Arthurian's life force began to diminish, dying like a candle flame until, finally, he disappeared. The kingdom was inherited by his 4 sons. Nengorth the Silent took the region of Nabros. Cornil the Enchanter took Karaga. Darthenos the Beastmaster took Devonia. We'll go with that, Devonia. And Ovengel, the greatest name ever invented in the history of mankind. Ovengel, the Tormentor, took Nagira. They have been cruel and terrible governors. They started a war against the priests of the temple and massacred them all. They took the temples, converted them to prisons, and prohibited any worship of the lords of Xulima. For that reason, they are known as the impious princes. No! So, be wary, or wary, my friends, not only here, but in other villages as well. Even so, you are safer here than in any of the surrounding areas. The world is now plunged into chaos. Terrible creatures that once existed only in stories and legends now roam the lands. If the lords do not return, I do not know what will become of us. Thank you for talking to us, and thank you for your advice, Master Galvin. Alright, the Divine Temples. Arthurian was the great king of men in Xulima. It seemed that he was held in high favor of the gods until their disappearance. After him, his 4 sons divided the kingdom and began a reign of terror over the lands of Xulima. They massacred the priests and turned their temples into prisons. Is this what Golat spoke of in my dreams? Is my mission to cast the armies of the impious princes out of the temples? Who knows? But hopefully we'll be able to find out. So, as you can see, we have several options to continue babbling with Galvin, which we will do in the next episode. But it looks like there's going to be some good stuff. There's job postings, all sorts of stuff to keep us entertained, occupied, and, well, hopefully in a way of making money and keeping ourselves supplied. So I'm going to say thank you.
Farewell.
I must go for now. Farewell. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to end episode 1. Keep in mind, once again, this game is in early access. There will be a few bugs that we run across. I haven't hit one yet, so I don't know, but the developers warned me. And they said that there's also going to be some improvements that were, well, brought up by the community. So definitely some stuff to look forward to upon its full release, but it is in Steam Early Access. I'll have all that info down below for you to pick it up, get more info, whatever you want to do. I'll have the links down below. I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I want to thank Numantian Games, I believe, is the developer. They sent me this game. It's quite a bit of fun. I'm more than happy to cover it, so do right by me, do right by them. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share it, get the word out there, and, well, I'll see you guys in probably a couple days when I do episode 2. Until then, my name's Bumpy McSquigums, and I will see you later.